4. Real car. On real roads. Real fast. It's the Subaru Canadian Rally Championship on TSN. Hi everyone and welcome to Maniwaki in Quebec's Gatineau Valley, 2 hours north of Ottawa, celebrating its 150th anniversary. This prosperous town of 8,000, a popular tourist destination, today hosts the Perce Maniwaki Rally, round 2 of the Subaru Canadian Rally Championship. And from the newly opened Chateau Logue Resort, 43 cars will start this rally. Vic Router, but Paul Chater's not here. He's on vacation, so joined today by TSN's longtime rally producer and a former competitor himself, Lawrence Partington. Nice to have you here. Starting first, last year's winner and the defending national champion, Tom McGeer, and his co-driver, Mark Williams.
Good to be here, Vic. You know, last year when McGeer won this rally, it was a breakthrough for the team. It led to the whole championship.
Keith Townsend and Ian McEwen.
Now, Townsend and McEwen have one of 3 Mitsubishi Evos entered in this event. They're expected to provide the main competition for McGeer and the Subaru Armada this season.
The rally covering about 450K, including some 200 over closed special stages. The city of Maniwaki is the title sponsor, and Lawrence, they've really done a great job of plowing the snow and grooming the course.
The roads are completely clear of snow, but we had a weird weather aberration. Yesterday it poured rain. It was about 10 degrees. Today it's minus 13. It's a skating rink.
So absolutely everything then, I guess, flooded and has frozen over, and you can see little bits of ice coming through, and no studs here. Canada, one of the few countries that does not allow studded tires. Frank Spongle, the Audi S2 Quattro.
Everyone's been waiting for this car to come back. We haven't seen it for half a season. This is the all-conquering team on ice and snow. Unquestionably the best in North America. He's out to prove to Tom McGeer that he can still win rallies.
The first 2 stages were the shortest of the entire rally, and Spongle won by 11 seconds over a very short 7K.
He was second just 2 weeks ago in the Rally Quebec. Now that was in a borrowed Audi Quattro, similar to this car, but down about 100 horsepower. He says this is like an old pair of shoes, completely comfortable.
Now, I mentioned the lack of studs, and you can see the ice coming up here. How much more difficult is it in a Canadian rally as compared to international?
Well, they're obviously not using studs. Here we use street-legal tires that have been tractionized.
John Nichols from Bay d'Urfé, not far from Montreal, his co-driver, Eric Tremblay, they run a Group 2 Golf GTI.
Nichols has dominated this class. He's the 4-time Canadian Group 2 champion. He likes front-wheel drive on ice and snow. Lightweight, shorter braking, more opposite lock of the steering, and easier to push out of the snowbanks.
If there is a local favorite, Lawrence, it has to be Sylvan Eriksson. He grew up here in Maniwaki, now lives in Gatineau.
He knows the roads very well. In fact, one of the stages on today's rally, he used to take a detour on his way to work every day. It wasn't the fastest way, but it was the most fun.
And again, this is the Mitsubishi Evo 4.
He's picked up sponsorship since his event 2 weeks ago in Quebec City from Yokohama Tires. It's officially entered now as the Yokohama Mitsubishi. He'll be contesting the entire season.
All right, let's ride along with Tom McGeer and Mark Williams, and this is on their special Stage 2.
Vic, Stage 2 is a very fast, longer stage, and I love watching these split screens. It shows you the coordination between the steering wheel and the feet. Tom McGeer is steering the car as much with the pedals as he is with the steering wheel. By squeezing on the brake with his left foot, he's shifting weight forward, allowing it to steer, and actually prompting oversteer, pushing the car sideways into the corners and adjusting the attitude of the machine through the corners. Now watch the gear shift. Right there, he went from 4th to 5th gear. His foot didn't touch the clutch pedal. He shifts up and down. It's a racing transmission, doesn't use the clutch at all. So
it really just depends on the revs. He has to have the revs at the right limit?
Yeah, the gears will drop right in. There's no synchro mesh. Also notice how his hands are on the wheel. Holds the wheel lightly, but when he has to, huge steering movements, lock to lock.
The Besners in the 3rd of the Mitsubishi Evos and their car number 10.
This is a father and son team. Jacques Besner is the co-driver. Son Jean-Sebastian is driving. He's highly rated as a championship contender this year, but he's not really at home on ice and snow. And on the slippery Stage 3, he has some trouble.
And unlike the rally in Quebec City, for example, lots of people, not very many here.
Well, he had the bad luck of stuffing away from the spectators, who were half the team. They have to push him out.
So after 2 stages, this was the order. Besner is already out. Stage 3, though, Lawrence, would change everything.
Stage 3 was unbelievably slippery. The roads were wet. They froze overnight. They gave trouble to everyone, including the ice master, Frank Sprongel.
You can hear the familiar chirp of the Audi Turbo.
That sounds like Dan's giving pace notes here. He isn't. This is a blind rally. They haven't practiced. Dan's just telling him what he sees, and he doesn't see it right. He's off on the right side, into the snowbank. Now, there are some spectators there, though.
Push.
And like all rallies, he's calling on them to give him a hand, get us out of here, because, of course, time is wasting. The stuff clock is running. Now, further ahead, near the finish line, this is Keith Townsend, and he almost makes it.
Now, Keith is not really comfortable on ice. His preference is snow, deep snow. That's what he likes to drive, and he's taking it very easy through this stage. He's going to survive. Here comes the 100-meter board. 100 meters to go to the finish line right there. 80 meters, 70 meters. Oh, no.
And he puts it into the bank.
Now, these spectators, you see them, they're jogging up on the right side. These are more experienced spectators. They know rally fans get a bigger workout than the competitors.
Absolutely. Now, all the while, a minute and a half has passed for the Sprongels, and you notice Dan climbing in from the right side, or from the left side, yes, to his right-hand position.
He was shoved up against the bank. The door wouldn't open.
But they are rolling again after a minute and a half.
They're going to struggle into their seatbelts and try and pick up the pace, because they're still on the stage. The time is still ticking. Now, there's superficial body damage at the front. It's just aerodynamics, not a big deal in this kind of rally.
Into 100, hairpin right, and it's there. Hairpin
Look how slippery it is.
Left, sorry, left. Foot left.
And again, can you believe this? I mean, this is a rarity for the Sprongels to stuff it once, twice, and again, they're calling for help from spectators.
We've had whole seasons go by when the Sprongels don't go off-road twice in a season. They've done it twice in this stage.
Meanwhile, this is John Nichols, Eric Tremblay, and this is great for them.
It is. These are exactly the kind of conditions that Nichols wants. No traction, so the four-wheel drive cars are struggling too. But look, when he comes out, oh, there's the Audi parked on the left side of the road. How often does that happen? Never.
As he tiptoes his way. The other stuff car, of course, is Townsend. His co-driver, Ian McEwen, is even out and shoveling. Meanwhile, stuff clock is 5:30 on the Sprongels.
So that 5 minutes and 30 seconds in that snowbank, a minute 30 in the previous one, they're 7 minutes behind the rally leaders. But they can't give up. The rally's still going.
Now they're still trying to dig out Townsend's car. Back with the Sprongels, hoping to finish,
Into left.
but they got a bit of a surprise before the finish line.
Here's the stuff no. Haha, toss stuff no. Oh, that's a... Oh, demo stuff no.
So they think it's actually McGear, but it's their teammate.
Well, their teammate and their company, 4-Star Racing's best customer. That's Keith Townsend parked. The Sprongels will stop and yank him out. The two cars will continue. In fact, Townsend's not going to wait for the co-driver. He's going across the finish line all by himself. I don't know if there's a rule about that, Vic.
So a bad stage for the 4-Star Racing teammates as they follow each other across the line. The Sprongels finally finish, as do Townsend, without the co-driver, because he'll run up and join them later. Meanwhile, Sylvan Eriksson, he won stage 3, moved into the lead.
He's got a fight going with Tom McGear, but he's 8 minutes clear of the Sprongels. They're back in 38th place. That's one of the big contenders out of the picture.
Rally on TSN is brought to you by Yokohama Performance Radials. Now you've got control. And by, on this ice, you need it, Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive. Welcome back to the Perce Neige Maniwaki Rally. Vic Rutter along with our rally producer Lawrence Partington. Our first service, Lawrence, at the snowmobile chalet they call locally Black Rollway, and today the snowmobilers are hosting the rally drivers.
This is McGear and Williams. They're in second place. They spun on stage 3, but they didn't get stuck. They're comfortable with the pace. Whereas at the Audi service area, there's a lot of work to be done. It's mainly fiberglass. Here's Frank.
Cars working fabulous. The tires are, I mean, we're about a second and a half quicker than anybody per kilometer. And that's not really pushing it yet. But we're 8 minutes down, and we're going to go 11/10 trying to win it still, so it's not over yet.
Maybe they can do some service on that hat.
That hat's got to go.
From the service rally, they do a loop of 4 long stages that average about 23 kilometers in length.
Now we're riding with rally leader Sylvain Eriksson. He's been away from the sport for a couple of years. No signs of rustiness. A couple weeks ago at Quebec City, he spent a lot of time in the snowbanks. But he's driving very mature ride and enjoying himself. Listen to that. Woo!
His reputation, though, precedes him.
Well, he used to have a reputation of very fast, but crash a lot. In fact, you and Paul christened his old co-driver, Gilles Know, as the bravest man in rally sport.
Oh, now this is different.
What's happened here, the potholes are filled up with water from all that rain. They crusted over with snow. He thinks he's driving on ice when all of a sudden, a sheet of ice water breaks over the windshield.
It freezes immediately.
That's almost over.
Now, he grew up in the area. You would think he'd have some local knowledge, but not out here.
On the stages around Maniwaki, he did have an edge. He'd driven on those roads many times, but out here in the woods, no one can memorize 120K of stages.
Get some air there.
Look how composed the car is. Modern rally suspension, it's amazing.
Now we've got Tom McGear in their Subaru. They lost stage 5 by 1 second to Eriksson.
That's right. Tom is driving a very paced rally, though. He's setting the pace to win by the smallest amount. He came right back on stage 6. He won the stage outright, and he moved ahead of Eriksson to take the lead in the rally. Now they've got their winter suspension on the Subaru. It's a softer suspension, more body roll, more flex to keep the tires in contact with the ice and snow. The roads are not expected to be as rough as they are in the summertime.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I don't know if we broke anything, but I'll be surprised.
Well, I see, Vic, now there's the downside of that softer suspension. Coming off a jump, as you can see here, he lands right on the nose. The suspension is fully compressed. That was the turning point of the rally for the Subaru team, Vic.
Now here comes John Nichols. Little fishtail, little snowbank to keep it all straight.
This guy is so entertaining to watch on ice and snow, but he is not leading Group 2. He's in second place right now, and our leader is the veteran in another Volkswagen GTI, Jean-Paul Perce and Marcel Paul Raymond.
Leading in production 4 is the Subaru Legacy, driven by John and Clark Painter from Nova Scotia.
They're swapping stage times and the P4 class lead with the BC team of Patrick Richard and Ian McCurdy in another Subaru. This one's an Impreza RS 2.5.
Steve Walkington from Hudson, Quebec, Haitham Mukhtar from Kirkland lead P3 in their Scirocco.
Now, Vic, the Sprongles are the fastest team on the course right now. Remember, they're almost 8 minutes behind, but they're staging a comeback. The rules have seeded them first. They're running first on the road because they are running fastest. It's not safe to have them pass 37 cars up ahead of them. But they're making quite a comeback. It's not impossible to gain that kind of time in these conditions.
So on stage 4, remember now they were 38th. On stage 4, they were up to 34th. Stage 5, 21st. Stage 6, all the way up to 9th place.
Now, Frank Sprongle hasn't got the luxury of a cautious, well-paced event. McGear and Eriksson, they're just watching each other. They're just going fast enough to beat the other guy. Sprongle has got to go flat out, 100%.
He knows as well, should either of the leaders stuff it, he'll be right back in it. Right now, though, he's 9th. Welcome back to the Perce Neige Maniwaki Rally as we ride along with the Sprongle brothers. Lawrence, this is stage 8.
The roads are as icy as ever. In fact, as cars go over them, they're getting slipperier still, Vic. The Sprongles are trying to come back from an 8-minute deficit caused when they stuffed into the snowbank twice early in the event. Now, It was lucky for them that their misfortune happened early because they had 200 kilometers almost to make it up.
Now, they did win this stage by 11 seconds over Tom McGeer, but as we say, they need the others, the two leaders, to get into trouble. Here is one of the co-leaders. Ericsson has only won a single time in a national race, a national championship.
That's right. Back in '97, he run the Bighorn Rally in Hinton, Alberta. Now, he's in a duel with Tom McGeer. McGeer led after stage 6. Ericsson took it right back on stage 7. At the finish line of stage 8, they're actually going to be tied.
Conditions remain icy, no pace notes. This is a blind rally.
You know, Sylvain Eriksson had a reputation as being very brave and very fast, but he was also known as a bit of a crasher.
There is a terrific battle going on in production 4. After 3 stages, the class fight had come down to 3 cars. North American champ Pat Richard, John Painter, Paul Ordanis, 5 seconds further back. On stage 4, Ordanis moved into the lead with the 2 Subaru drivers tied 2 seconds behind the BMW. Stage 5, Richard is back in the lead. Stage 6, Painter uncorked a fast one, moved his legacy from 3rd to 1st. Ordanis had a spin, cost him 3 minutes, dropped him out of the fight. Stage 8, Richard moved 2 seconds ahead of Painter, but the fight was far from over. 12 special stages, the lead in P4 class changed 11 times. At service with 4 stages to go, the Yokohama Mitsubishi team, they're feeling confident. Lawrence, some minor body damage, but so far, so good.
Really fun. I enjoyed that. We tie right now. Right now we tie for the first place. Everything is going perfect. I mean, we keep the same plan. Stay on the road.
Things were not running so smoothly at Subaru. The car has been down on power since that very hard landing on stage 7, and it's leaking oil. But on camera, Mark Williams, the complete pro, he's all grins, all confidence.
We've been swapping times back and forth, and we've come into here dead heat. We're tied with Sylvain Eriksson. Frank is going quite quickly. He's probably faster than both of us by half a minute, 3/4 of a minute each stage, but he's 7 minutes back, so it looks pretty impossible for him to make it up, so we're not really concerned about him. It's just the 2 of us that are tied for first right now.
Hard to believe what the cars go through that we could be tied here in Maniwaki. We're into our 12th hour. We're in the dark, and it is the Perce Neige Maniwaki Rally here on TSN. And Sylvain and Philippe Eriksson, Lawrence from Gatineau, have a chance to become the first Quebec drivers to win a rally since '97. They have to feel the pressure.
Well, the pressure's enormous. Not only is it a hometown event, but they've got a brand new sponsor. Yokohama Tires has just signed up. They've got their first ride in a competitive car.
They know as well a mistake could, hold on. Look at this.
They got away with it.
Can you believe that? They do the 360 and keep it pointed in the right direction. I mean, that's just all about how that car hits the snowbank.
Luck or skill, it depends on whether you get away with it or not. Now look here, it's so slippery. He's actually putting his wheels up on the snowbanks to try and scratch a little traction off the inside of the corners.
Because this is their second time around. It's a stage, it's a loop, it's 92 kilometers, but second time around.
That's right. The 40 cars have gone over. They've buffed it. Now, look, you see how his inside wheels are going up on the snowbank? A little more traction in the snow than there is on the ice.
Now, McGeer is flying 2, but he is in some trouble.
Alarms flashing. Off and on.
That oil leak is getting worse.
I could smell oil.
Perce knows how much is left.
Now, at a 5-minute service stop just between the 2 long stages, McGeer had one thing on his mind.
Oil! Put oil in right now! Oil!
But at the start of the stage, Lawrence, the problem was obvious.
Even with the motor stopped, oil was leaking quickly. That hard landing on stage 7 had impacted the exhaust hard enough to bend the head, which eventually led to a blown crankcase seal. Still in second place, they tried to finish, but had to abandon in the final stage. The Subaru winning streak snapped at 6.
For Eriksson, the pressure's off. 4-minute lead, 40K to go. They could afford to cruise. It had been a masterful tactical drive.
Wonderful. First event and Perce at Maniwaki, my native town, and we won. Everything is perfect.
But the class fight for production 4 was still up for grabs.
John Painter and Pat Richard had traded the lead all day. Painter started the last stage with a margin of 13 seconds. Richard would have to win the final stage by more than 13 in order to win the rally.
At the finish line, Painter's time was 12 minutes, 52 seconds. Now, though, he'd have to wait and watch to see what Richard could deliver.
Now, Pat Richard needs a time of 12:39 or better to win the P4 class.
Watch for the board, watch for the time. There it is, 12:30, he does it, winning the class by 9 seconds. Over 200 kilometers of stages. Can you believe it? 9 seconds the difference. And when he gets the good news, Richard is delighted.
I pushed as hard as I could on that last stage. You might have seen over there, and I'm sweating like a dog, so I certainly hope we did it.
He said it was the first winter rally he's ever entered where he didn't need to shovel.
So Ericsson wins. Sprongel's persistence pays off from 38th to 2nd. John Nichols, Jean-Paul Perce, 3rd and 4th in their front drive VWs. John Nichols won Group 2 by over 2 minutes. You have to wonder what he would do if he had an all-wheel drive car.
The P3 category went to the Americans, Brian Goss and Phil Ho in their Dodge Neon.
So Frank Sprongel, with 2 second-place finishes, leads the Subaru National Rally Championship. The intent of the Sprongels not to do any Western events. Being this close with a chance to win, they in fact may go west. Now, just a few days after the rally at the opening of the Canadian International Auto Show in Toronto, Subaru chairman Norio Osakabe unveiled the 2002 Impreza WRX. Norway's Peter Solberg was on hand for the launch and to announce that Subaru Canada will be running a 3-car factory-supported team with drivers Tom McGeer, John Painter, and Patrick Richard. The long-awaited 227 horsepower turbo WRX will be in Canadian showrooms in late April, and the rally cars will make their debut at the Rally of the Bighorn in Edson, Alberta on May 19th.
But in Maniwaki, it's Sylvain Ericsson's turn to celebrate. A big night, too, for Yokohama. 1st and 2nd place with their Gardex 600 ice tire.
Yokohama, now you've got control. Canadian Rally Championship also brought to you by Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive. Want to learn more about rallying? Check out the series website at carsrally.ca, or you can link to it at tsn.ca/shows. The Subaru Canadian Rally Championship on PSN.